In 1998, I did something kind of crazy. Been working in the corporate world for 13 years. Found myself in a situation where I really didn't enjoy what I was doing, and decided to give up my job and pursue God's calling in my life. Through this experience, I was really blessed in growing in my faith and began to feel like God was really calling me to reach underprivileged kids, and more importantly, to share the gospel with these kids and to let them know that God loves them and has a plan for their life. That led to an organization in Des Moines that worked with inner city moms and children in transitional housing, actually inviting me to join them and to begin youth programs for children living in the inner city. And so for the next 5 years, I just had a blast. I didn't know what I was doing, but was reaching out to these kids, starting programs, getting volunteers involved. And it's where God really showed me the heart that He gave me for these kids and the struggles that they're facing. And so it was after about 5 years, the Des Moines Register ran a series of articles on the homeless teens in our community. And I was really inspired by that, and again asked the question, who is telling these kids the truth? And that led me to take a box of day-old muffins under the bridges looking for these young people, and it wasn't hard to find them, and began to strike up some conversations, build some relationships, and that's where I met Michelle. So Michelle was a young lady that was under the bridge the first day I went down, and she was clearly distressed. She wouldn't smile. She was sleeping on a cardboard box and had this little blanket that she put up over her head, which was a clear indication to me that she didn't want to talk to me and wanted nothing to do with me. There were 3 other young people there under the bridge at the time, and I don't know, I just kept coming back and would stay for 10 or 15 minutes and just trying to get to know them. And one day Michelle asked me for a ride to Nolan Plaza, and so I gave her a ride. When she jumped out of my truck, I said, "I just want you to know that God loves you and has a plan for your life." And that was the first time I saw her smile, and I knew God had touched her heart, even in just a little way. And that led to this relationship where I began to get my wife and my young girls involved, and we just began to love this girl and try to care for her as best we could. And we were naive. We made lots of mistakes, and I broke lots of boundaries, and letting her come home with me and giving her money when I shouldn't have, and different things like that. But you know, in the long run, I think she felt the love of Christ. And as we shared the gospel with her, it became clear that God was working in her life. But it also helped me understand the life of a drug addict. Michelle was addicted to methamphetamines. She was a runaway from Ohio. She really didn't have any family, no place to go. And she would be gone for weeks at a time. And I remember going through a lot of sleepless nights wondering if she's even alive, because we wouldn't hear from her for weeks. And finally, after one of these drug binges, she came home and she said to me that I'm ready. And you know, I didn't know what to say. And finally she told me, I'm ready to give my life to Christ. So that day when she surrendered her life to Christ, she told me that the first day I came down under that bridge was the day she was going to kill herself. And you can imagine I was taken back. I felt the awesomeness of God, just knowing that there was something big in store, that God was about to do something great. And He was going to birth something through this girl and her testimony. And what I saw in Michelle was nothing short of miraculous. She went cold turkey off of meth. She started going to church with us, going to Bible studies, very excited in the things of the Lord. It wasn't long, she was going out with me, speaking at churches, and After seeing Michelle and experiencing the life change that she had gone through, some of my friends from church were saying, "Mark, you need to do something with this." I knew God was calling me and others to begin a ministry where young people could experience the love of Christ like Michelle did and be broken free of their bondages. And so we named it Freedom for Youth Ministries after Isaiah 61, where Isaiah prophesied that Jesus would come to bind up the brokenhearted and set the captives free. Little did I know that 13 years later, here would be this ministry that is reaching hundreds of young people, and it all started with Michelle and that first conversation under the bridge. And we just see the awesomeness of God and the plan that He is laying out before us.
It started with a little building we rented on 2nd Avenue as a daytime drop-in center for homeless youth. We had no money, just an unceasing desire to see God change one more life. And that He did. In the first 3 months, 13 youth were baptized. Many more professed Christ, and all heard the gospel. After the first year, 260 youth had been to the Freedom Center. God was sending volunteers and funds as we needed them.
In 2005, we purchased a home on 6th Avenue, which we called the Promise House, to begin housing those who wanted to change their environment and their life. Our program we call Transitions is a 9 to 12-month program focused on discipleship, breaking bondages, employment, and setting a course for their future. Since 2005, over 85 young men have been served through this transitional housing program.
In 2006, God had no plans of slowing down. We acquired a 6-acre campus near M.L. King and Hickman and moved our operations to our new location. After a year of renovations and thousands of volunteer hours, we began programming for K through 12. Our programs focus on faith, education, employment, and leadership. We want our youth to know that God loves them, has a plan for their life, and has given them unique gifts and abilities. Middle and high school students have opportunities to participate in classes exposing them to various trades, life skills, and recreational activities. Volunteers play a key role in building relationships with the youth and mentoring them. Today, over 250 youth participate in our programs at our Hickman location and another 100 at 3 church-based sites in the metro area.
I've been coming to Freedom for Youth since middle school, so that's like 8 years to now. In Tanzania, the conditions were not that very good. They were harsh. I lived in a camp called Nduta. That's where my family resided for many years until we received settlement to the United States. When I got here to the United States, there were a lot of confusion. I mean, you have to deal with culture and everything, so it was very hard to integrate and to get used to it. I remember coming to Freedom for Youth. When I got here, it was very awesome because a lot of people were coming here, and it was very fun because a lot of kids were there, so it was very energetic. A lot of people playing. We're playing soccer with other kids, and so it was awesome. Freedom for Youth has made me the person who I am today. Part of me, it has helped me develop in several ways, spiritually and also academically. Spiritually, being here, it's an environment where there's people who are loving and kind, and we read the Bible and everything, so it's in a sense it has developed me spiritually because I now have a better relationship with Christ. In terms of academics, Freedom for Youth has provided people who actually care and are able to actually help us achieve our goals at school. We may have difficulties at school, and when we come Freedom for Youth, there are people who actually help us to understand what we are learning and applying that. When I graduate, I want to become a computer scientist, so I am thinking of going to either Iowa Central or at Graceland or Iowa State as my options, and still looking into it.
In 2010, we built a girls' home we call Safe Haven, adjacent to our campus, where homeless and displaced young women can rebuild their lives with God at the center. It's a place where they can heal and be nurtured while discovering the path God has for them. Similar to the boys' home, we want our residents to know Christ and develop a relationship with Him that will carry them through the rest of their lives.
So the Lord truly started my journey in 2013, where I found out I was pregnant. I was 19 years old at the time, and that was when I hit rock bottom. The Lord had shown me by a pamphlet, actually, Ruth Harbor, which actually led me to Des Moines in the first place. During that time, I knew I was going to place my son for adoption and give him the life I could never give him. And so while I was at Ruth Harbor, the Lord was opening my eyes to different things, and He was just providing for me my entire time there. And in July, I had him on the 28th. A beautiful, healthy baby boy, and the Lord had shown me the family who came 3 days later and took him home as their own. I was needing a lot of healing after that decision that I had made to place him, and so for some reason, Freedom for Youth was that high profile as to where I'd be healing at, and I found out later just why the Lord just brought people into my life to show me that it's not the end, and healing can happen because the Lord provided a lot of healing for me during my time at Freedom for Youth. There was a lot of changes in me during my stay at Freedom for Youth. I came in a very emotional wreck. I had no confidence in myself. I actually came with very little esteem for myself, little confidence, little to no hope in myself. I came here very broken, and the Lord just showed me that my confidence can grow, and He grew my confidence, my self-esteem, my faith, most of all. So after I graduated from Freedom for Youth Ministries, I have continued to volunteer my time as a volunteer, and I have continued to grow many friendships and relationships, and have gotten to meet new people and learn a lot as I continue to work with Freedom for Youth Ministries.
Having seen God move mountains and transform hundreds of young lives, in 2010 we began answering God's call to take our ministry statewide. Our marching orders were to take what we had learned and go throughout Iowa, empowering the local church to reach young people who don't know Christ. It is an exciting vision that has already seen much fruit, with centers operating in Stewart, Mitchellville, Perry, Winterset, Knoxville, and Huxley. 2 additional centers are scheduled to open yet this year. Our long-term vision is to be in every county of Iowa, inspiring the church to reach the hurting youth throughout the state.
Hi, my name is Maddie, and I am in 5th grade. I like to come to Freedom because you get to learn about Jesus, and you get to have fun.
Oh, I like coming to the Freedom Center because everything.
You learn how Jesus was born and what He does. My name is Chu. I'm in 2nd grade. I like to come to Freedom for Youth because I learn about Jesus and because Shannon is nice.
And learning about Jesus and God. And I think that's all.
Jesus helps me to have a smile. My favorite Bible verse is when the devil tried tempting Jesus, but He said no to all the
stuff that the devil tried to tempt me to do. When I grow up, I want to be a teacher and help kids get good grades. When I grow up, I want to be a vet and I want to work at a church.